people, welcome once again to the Noble Woman Show. Call a friend to tell a friend that the show has started. Today, our guest is joining us all the way from South Africa, and I believe she would have something to tell us today on the show. Don't go anywhere, stay tuned. Welcome back from the break. This is the Noble Woman Show. The show is brought to you by Ryan Travels and Ryan Car Rentals. If you're traveling and you need anything with regards to your ticketing, your visa, you can contact Ryan Travels on 0264 623 091. If you need a car to rent, you can also call Ryan Car Rentals on 0264 623 091. My hair was styled by Lizzie Beauty Center. You can call her through the number on your screen. Today on the show, we're talking to Mrs. Millie Rasekoala. She is joining us all the way from South Africa. She's from South Africa, but she's a Ghanaian though, who doesn't want to come home. And she's a life coach, an international accredited life coach. So I believe she would have something to say today on the show. Welcome, Millie, to the Noble Woman Show.
Thank you, Dr. Gabriela. I'm so excited.
You don't want to come home. Why don't you want to come home?
Actually, I am coming home. Don't worry. Ghana is in my blood. Has always been. I get offended if somebody even says anything remotely, unflattering about Ghana. So I'm coming. I'm coming. You'll see me soon. Sooner than you think.
Okay, we know there are a couple of people who have careers as life coaches, or should I say a life coach. You're a life coach. I know something little about you, but generally for the layman, what would you, or how would you define a life coach? Who would you say a life coach is?
Okay, so interestingly, I call myself a life strategist, and the reason why I call myself a life strategist is because a life coach is literally helping people in a strategic way to navigate the issues and challenges, their hopes and dreams. So a life coach works on a whole array of issues and topics. For example, you may be at a crossroads in life. Maybe you've just become unemployed, or you've become retrenched, or you're looking for to start a new job or a new business. And a life coach can help you to navigate some of those complex aspects of that transition. So basically, we deal with all the issues that sometimes other people may see as, oh, these are soft issues, touchy-feely. We deal with that, but we deal with it to help the person to be whole. Yeah.
Okay. With your years of experience as a life coach, what are some of the common issues that comes to your desk with regards to women, or in relation to women?
Yes.
Women.
Sorry, I lost you a little.
Okay. You have a lot of experience. You have a lot of experience as a life coach, and you are accredited, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Definitely, you would have a lot of issues coming to you for you to address or for you to solve. Okay. So, in relation to women, what are some of the common issues that comes to your desk for you to solve? Or for you to address?
So just recently, actually, I was coaching a woman who was in business. She is in business with her husband, and they've been in business together for about 10 years now. And she was depressed. She was feeling totally worthless. She felt she was also overweight. She wasn't taking care of her health, and a whole host of things. And her marriage was also suffering because she felt that, the husband was not respecting her or acknowledging the fact that not only is she a wife, but she's also a business partner. that has to work a full day and then go home, cook, listen to their children's issues from school, help them with their homework, and also, make sure that the youngest of the children is also taken care of so that he gets to bed on time and so on. And she was actually not coping at all. The first session we had, it was just tears. I asked one simple question and the tears began to flow. And it was because she was realizing that she herself was not even loving herself enough by putting the brakes on things and saying, how do I restructure my life so that I can cope better, so that I can be happier? And so we actually had 6 sessions. And on the 3rd session, her husband contacted me and said, "You've given me my wife back." And I thought, what? And true enough, she's actually the one that said, "You know what, I don't need any more sessions. I'm actually coping, I'm managing." And we just basically put simple things in place. We looked at, for example, even things like time management. We looked at simple things like just being able to sit in silence for 15 minutes. It seems like it's a difficult thing to do, but in that time, she was able to actually begin to collect herself and say, wow, these are the things that I've neglected about me. So basically, that's the kind of thing that, I deal with as a coach. Another young lady, she came to see me because her fiance was actually financing her education, and she had failed a couple of times and of course hadn't told him. So he kept asking, what is happening? When are you going to graduate? And eventually I think it became very overwhelming. Coupled with that, her mother also passed away from COVID in December, and then January she caught COVID. So even as she was talking to me, you could see that she was struggling to breathe. Her lungs were not as strong as they were, and then worrying about the fact that now the fiance actually wants to end the relationship. And so we now had to look at how she could redeem the situation. And the certain activities and tasks that usually in every session the person you're coaching will commit to. And so each session we go back to that and we say, okay, so how did you do on that commitment? You committed to do 1, 2, 3. What are you doing? What did you do? How did it go? So one of the things that she had to do in that scenario was to actually go back to her fiance and sit with him and say, okay, I'm laying my cards on the table. But remember, this is her own decision. I don't push people to make decisions. I ask the question, what do you want to do about it? You are unhappy, he's unhappy, you believe your relationship is on the brink of disaster. What do you think you can do about it? And then once she gave me the answer, I said, okay, so let's look at how you're going to go about doing it. And that's basically how coaching works. It unfolds, and it unfolds from the questions that, I as a coach will ask my my client and the feedback that I get from them. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, you're trying to tell me that some of the common issues that you deal with has more to do with relationship and marriage, right?
That's the one aspect. I've also dealt with a situation where, for example, I was coaching someone who was working at Vodacom, and the first session I had with her, she said, you know what, I don't plan. If I have to plan for even 1 week, it's too much planning. And I said to her, okay, we're going to challenge ourselves and put together a 5-year plan in terms of where you want to go, what you want to do. So what are the things that you want to do? One of the things she said was that she would like to buy a house, get married, and finish her degree, as well as get promoted within 5 years.
Okay,
let's in those.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry for cutting you there. I want us to talk about relationship
Okay.
Since that is mostly one of the areas that you mostly deal with. You know, society
Yes.
pays attention to physical abuse like hitting and all of that. Hitting a woman, slapping a woman, beating a woman. We try to fight for women who are physically abused in marriages or relationships or whatever it may be. We hardly pay attention to emotional, psychological abuse because those are some of the things that makes some of these women end up in psychiatric hospitals, because there are a lot of women who are in the hospitals because of such forms of abuse. It could be emotional, it could be psychological. I have been a victim of emotional abuse and psychological abuse, and I almost killed myself. And I almost killed the person who was trying to put me in that situation. I was fortunate to get somebody to talk to. Somebody somewhere wouldn't have that opportunity to talk to somebody, and all of that, you know. So why do you think that society ignores stuff like that but pays attention to the physical one? Why do you think they do that? Because when it gets to that time, all they'll tell you is everything's going to be fine, just stay, everything's going to be okay. They don't know what you feel, you know what you're going through. They don't really pay attention to that. They pay attention to the physical ones because they can see him beat you, they can see the marks, but they wouldn't pay attention to something they can't see. Why do you think that they don't give attention to that?
I think you've answered the question. It's simply the fact that it is not physical. We can't see it. And yet it manifests in so many ways. So interestingly, as you raise this question, we, myself and three other women, one is a professor at Jomo Kenyatta University, the other one is also a life coach. She's based in France. And I have another lady who's from the US. And we've actually developed an African Women's Leadership and Mental Well-Being program, which we're going to be launching in June and July of this year. The reason why we started with mental well-being is because, you know, as Africans generally, we do not talk about mental health. We push it under the carpet. We do not even recognize things like postpartum depression. We do not talk about, you know, a woman's issues and challenges in the workplace, because at the end of the day, you're a woman, you are to suck it up, you need to be able to deal with it. After all, you give birth, so why are you stressing about this situation and that situation? And the reality is that we often suffer in silence. Then in the workplace, you also have the added thing of, you know, your employer may even ridicule you for your style of leadership as a woman. I had a CEO who said to me, I'm paying you to manage my staff, not to breastfeed them. And basically what he was saying is, my nurturing style of leadership doesn't work for him. In other words, just going to somebody's desk in the morning and saying, how are you today, is too much of a problem for him. And I found myself bending in shapes and ways that was so unnatural. You know, I don't speak pidgin, but I will try, because my husband taught me this one, and he said, you know, they say, na condition make crayfish bend, okay? In other words, you know, I hope you understood what I was trying to say. But the reality is that because we need a job, because we need to pay our bills, we put ourselves in an environment where, you know, sometimes the job description or what we expected to do is so foreign to our natural way of doing things. And then we end up getting very down. By the time I actually resigned from that company, my blood pressure was so high. I was diagnosed with diabetes, and my mental health was on the floor. And yet I was a life coach in that company, where I was coaching over 40 entrepreneurs every month. I was coaching them, I was managing the environment, I was scheduling, coaching sessions for other coaches, and traveling and facilitating training. I was multitasking in ways that you can't even imagine. But every month I was ineffective as far as the CEO was concerned. And I walked around feeling this horrible knot in my stomach every day. But the day I made a decision to leave that work environment was when my daughter called me one day, because I have this daughter who challenges me on everything. And she said to me, "Mommy, are you having a good day?" And I said to her, "Yes, I am." And she said, "Oh, good. So it means that when you come home today, you're going to be in a good mood." I was like, what? That said it all for me. So I'm projecting all the negativity in the work environment on my family. And I believe that as a woman, we are so powerful in the home that we can either bring life or death into our home life. And when I say death, I'm talking about all the toxicity, all the challenges and issues that we face, and we can't handle it out there, so we bring it home and we lay it on our children and even our husbands. So for me, it became a thing of, I had to save Millie in order for me to be whole, in order for me to be a good wife and a good mother to my children. The sheer enormity of the issues and challenges that a woman faces that impact on her mental health is, you can't even put words to it oftentimes. I mean, there was even the sense of guilt that my youngest child was not getting enough attention from me. His work was, his school work was not great, and I was too tired or too frustrated to help him. And there are so many women going through that. Maybe mine may not be a physical issue, but it did impact on my mental health. I lost my confidence, and the bounce that I have now in my step, the joy that I feel in my body was not there 7-8 years ago. I was a bag of I don't know what. so I understand what you're saying, and that's the reason why we're also dealing with this mental well-being program, because we want to afford our African women. And when we say leadership, we're not talking, just in a corporate boardroom environment. The market, the woman who works in the market and is, selling her wares so that her children and other family members can go to school is a leader. The student who is impacting on her community to bring justice is a leader. So our concept of leadership is that holistic and that broad, embracing the diversity and the joy that exists for us as women. But if we are not whole, if in our minds, in our hearts, in our being, we're not happy, if we are frustrated, if we're feeling downtrodden, if we're not being respected, that affects how we respond to everything in our lives. A mother is a leader. I lead my family. I make sure my children, when they go out there, are not going to disgrace themselves or the family by doing things that are not proper. And that is leadership. So that is why we're doing that. But women's mental wellness is something that as Africans we really try not to address at all. And I think that is also the reason why it is never embraced. If you go with a black eye, everybody can see you have a black eye. Oh, there must be abuse. Yeah. Then maybe they will sit up. But if you go and you say, geez, I'm not feeling my optimum today, I'm feeling so down, then it becomes something else.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Viewers, we're still talking to Millie Rasekoala from South Africa on the Noble Woman Show, and she's sharing a lot with us today on the show. Don't go anywhere, stay tuned.
Are you planning a trip, or you're going for a holiday with a lot of destinations all over the world? Just decide on where you want to go, and Sea Rhine Travels will take you there. We offer UAE visa, air ticketing, tour packages, hotel reservations, corporate travels, and many more. You can contact Sea Rhine Travels on 0264 623 091 or 0302 408067. You can email Sea Rhine Travels at c.rhinetravels@gmail.com. Sea Rhine Travels. You pack, we plan.
Welcome back from the break. This is still the Noble Woman Show. The show is proudly brought to you by Sea Rhine Travels and Sea Rhine Car Rentals. If you want to rent a car for any occasion, you can contact Sea Rhine Car Rentals on 0264 623 091. You see my beautiful hair? It was styled by Lizzie Beauty Center. So if you need her to style you up for any occasion, you can call her through the number on your screen. My beautiful African outfit was designed by ABS Couture. So if you need her to design something beautiful for you, you can call her through the number on your screen. Today we are still talking to Millie on the Noble Woman Show. Millie, I'm like, would you agree with me when I say that if you're a woman suffering in silence, whether you're suffering in at your workplace, or you're suffering in your marriage, or you're suffering in your relationship, whichever way, wherever it is that you're suffering, or whatever it is that is making you suffer silently, it could be an emotional thing, or it could be a psychological thing. Would you agree with me if I tell such a woman to walk out or leave wherever it is that is not making her happy? I know some people will not agree with me, but if you're a woman and something is making you suffer silently and it's causing you a lot of emotional or psychological torture, I think you should leave. What do you think? Since you're a life coach, you should have you could have something better. That's what I think, though. That's what I think, because when I went through that, I left. So what would you say? And I'm better now. I'm better. My life is better now. So what would you say?
God for it.
Yeah.
And I thank God for your life and the fact that you had the strength.
That's also another problem. Most women don't have the strength to leave.
Yeah,
that is the thing.
That's right. That's right. And so one thing I would never do is to tell somebody leave or do this, but ask them the question: how do you believe that the way you're being treated is how you should be treated? So, like I said, in the coaching, you ask questions that almost get a person to think, oh, I never thought about it like that. Ask the question: when your children see you being beaten up or being disrespected, how do you think that impacts on their mental and physical well-being? So ask the question, because at the end of the day, a woman, even when they're being beaten up, will say, but I love him. So to give you an example, some years ago, a friend of mine contacted me and she called me and she said, Millie, so when your husband says he's working late, do you believe him? And I said, yes. And she said, oh, really? I said, yes. He has not given me any reason to believe otherwise. And if you really want to know, you could go to the office now. I'm sure you'll find him there. And she said, wow, that's incredible trust. And I said, well, the reality is, as a woman, our gut, we're intuitive beings. I truly believe that is a gift God has given us, and we often don't use it. And that gift of intuition that says something is not right, something just doesn't add up. We always know it, we feel it, and we ignore it, sometimes to our own detriment. So I said, if your husband was having an affair, nobody would need to tell you. You will pick up the signs. And that is how I live my life. I cannot worry about my husband working late, because if I do, I might as well leave him. So that's the reality. When it comes to the other aspect of must I leave him, or even tell him, her, walk out? No, you have got to get to that point in your life where you say, I'm actually done with this. And that's exactly what I meant by even in the workplace. I spent 19 months trying to prove to my CEO that I was good enough. I spent 19 months, and then there was a day that I said, I'm done. And I didn't look back. That is actually the right time, because if you tell somebody, they may sit in regret, especially if they see the man one day with somebody else and that woman looks happy. They may think, oh, that could have been my life, and this person advised me, and now look at me. So in everything, it's about your own sense of self-actualization. You've got to get to that point where you say, yeah, I am done with this. And I think it is so important for the person to come to that realization. But obviously, as a coach, when somebody comes to you, they are looking for help. They are looking for a way out of a situation. And if you are skilled enough, you can help that person to navigate that decision making. Because oftentimes they want to make the decision, but they want somebody to make it for them. And that is what you don't do.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Millie, for coming to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Gabriela. I've really enjoyed this time with you, and looking forward to coming to Ghana and claiming my place as a Ghanaian.
We're waiting for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, viewers, it was an amazing time here today talking to Millie Rasekoala from South Africa, joining us all the way from South Africa on the Noble Woman Show today. It has been an amazing time. I enjoyed myself. I learned a lot, and I hope you did also. The show was brought to you by Sea Rhine Travels and Sea Rhine Car Rentals. If you want to rent a car for any occasion, for a funeral, for a wedding, for whatever it is that you might need a car for, you can call Sea Rhine Car Rentals on 0264 623091. And if you need anything with regards to traveling, your ticketing, your visa, corporate travels, anything, just call Sea Rhine Travels on 0264 623091. Once again, I want to thank ABS Couture for my beautiful outfit and my hair, Lizzie Beauty Center. You can also watch the show on www.thenoblewomanshow.online. Thank you so much for staying with us today on the Noble Woman Show. See you same time next week. Bye bye.
Them.